So hello. So I thought for this third video of mine on YouTube, which is a whole new game for me, I would do one of these little divided up pictures. So I'm going to treat it as one. So what that means is I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces, but that's why, so I'm measuring out, measured out my width. It was about 6 inches. So I marked a notch at 3 and 3, gave myself 2 marks. Let me give myself a third march, a third mark. Because cotty paper, this is cotty paper. It's 100% rag paper, cotton rag, and it can kind of be quite, wonky, like 1 inch or but it doesn't need to be perfect. This is definitely not need to be perfect. And then we'll go a long ways. It is about 8 1/4, or yeah, 8 1/4. So I'm going to go 4 1/8. I'm going to mark 1 notch here, and then I'm just going to mark another one over here, 4 1/8. And then I'm going to draw my line down the middle, and I'm just making light marks. Okay, can you see the lines? There you go. Simple lines, nothing super fancy. Then I'm going to take my 1/2 inch masking tape. You can use what you have. If you have 1 inch, that's fine too. You'll just have wider borders, no biggie. This is the masking tape I really like. I get it at Jackson Art, and it's my favorite. You can use any paper you have. Doesn't have to be cotton rag, doesn't have to be what I have. And use what tape you have. If your tape is too sticky, go ahead and dab it off on your clothing a little bit, and it'll take some of the stickiness away, tackiness away, and it won't stick to your paper as bad. You can also use a heat gun when you remove it. If you have trouble with your tape sticking, the heat will just help release the glue, and the tape will just kind of peel right off on its own. So I'm just taping all my sides. So it's almost going to look like, like a little window frame, right? Some of you may have seen me do this on my live. And so I think I'm going to use my dagger brush. This is a Princeton Neptune dagger. And yes, they're kind of floppy, but what I really like about this brush is it keeps me loose. And I try not to hunch up on it like this, right? I try to grab some pink, and I'm going to grab some yellow. And I'm going to use it pretty watery. The paper's all dry. I'm just going to, almost like a bow, like I'm drawing loop-de-loop-de-loos, loop-de-loop-de-loo, right? Just quick and like a bow on a package. Okay, super fast. It's not going to look like a flower, but you kind of know it is. I hope you know. And I'm going to ignore this tape, so I'm just going to paint over it like it's paper. So try to do that. Try not to pay too much attention. And I like big ones. I found that the littler, you can put, like, let's say we go back in with some yellow, whatever color you like. I'm gonna grab some ochre, and I'm just going to maybe put like little things like this and let it touch. So the most fun part for me is the letting everything touch. Maybe I'll grab some purple over here. I had some left over my palette. You can see here, I'll bring that down just a little bit. I don't mix a lot on camera, to be honest. I prefer to just do it off camera because I don't want you to get stuck on what colors I use. So that did an amazing bleed. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm gonna make sure I get some more of those. I'm gonna touch the yellow too. Let's do a little one up here. Okay, and then I'll do maybe another one down here on the tape. And yeah, they're wild, they're chaotic, they're rustic. They're not going to be your perfect little detailed flowers that you see so many do. So many do that. They do that beautifully. I can't do it, so I'm not going to try for you. I'm not going to fake it to make it. I'm going to do it my way, and do it the way that's comfortable for me, right? And that's messy, that's chaotic, and I don't want you to make the same exact strokes with the same positioning. So if you start on your left-hand side, start on the bottom, do it. Whatever, when it's still wet, I'm gonna take my mixture of whatever green you like, and I'm just gonna, see, now I'm hunching a bit on my brush for leaves. And I do tend to, the dagger has an interesting shape, so I tend to lead with the tip, obviously, and then I go about 45 degrees. And I always try to touch everything because I love the bleeds. If you don't like the bleeds, don't touch. I'm gonna, just give little stems and maybe touch that green into the flower, the floral. I turn my paper a lot too, so that's kind of annoying to people. Eek, sorry, but I do a lot of that. Again, I'm kind of staying in this little corner, and I'm not meaning to. Let's branch out with this leaf. And yep, I'm pretending that tape's not there. So yes, most of that leaf is honestly taken by the tape, right? But I'm gonna keep going, and I'm just gonna dot in some darker green. You always wanna make sure you're getting a lot of that contrast in there, right? especially since we all know paint's dry, watercolor paint's dry a lot darker. And I'm just gonna pretend there's a stem coming out of that one somewhere. It doesn't have to be exact. Nothing has to be exact. This is just practice. I'm not expecting to make some amazing thing right now. I'm just enjoying and playing with color and loving the paper and loving this dagger brush. And see what I told you not to do? I'm right up on there. That's okay. For leaves, I find that it works when I'm doing this kind of shape for me. If it works for you, do it. You don't have to listen to whatever we say. And we, I mean, just people that, you know, are on here trying to tell you what to do. Do it if it feels comfortable for you. You know, if it feels comfortable going way back here, let's try it. Let's try it out. And you'll probably get a lot looser feel. So if you're ready, when it's like, you know, somewhere different, maybe over here. Okay, see, I inched up again there. Habits are hard to break. So if you just want a looser one, then absolutely, you know, maybe try holding your, and that's kind of fun too. Look at that. That's a fun one, isn't it? And that was me holding it farther back. So I've got a lot of leaves going on. I've got a lot of fun stuff going on. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to grab a little stem right here on this guy. So we'll pull down a stem here. And so we are definitely leaning in this corner, but I need to start moving around, right? So let's go. Let's grab some more of that mixed up purple, whatever's in that palette. Sorry, somebody's mad. You hear that? Let's go. I'm really going over this tape right now. So, but I'm pretending it's not there again. I seem to be doing a purple and coral. I didn't plan that. I just ended up doing that. Remember I talked about grabbing that kind of that opera pink color, and I ended up using ochre in it. So it was opera pink and ochre. Both of these happen to be by Art Philosophy. And I actually really love their tube paints. I like their palettes as well, but their tube paints, they only make like 17. And so it's really nice to be able to have a limit. You know, Daniel Smith colors are amazing, don't get me wrong, but there are so many that I feel like it can be very overwhelming because you end up wanting them all, right? That's a fun one. So I ended up doing, let me try to emulate that, which I won't be able to, of course. So I did a boom, boom, like one little cluster, and then I went and did another little cluster, okay? Trying to keep the tips almost meeting, right? Not touching or anything. This one's gonna hit a leaf. So let's bring it down here. Let's do it like this, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't make it perfect. It doesn't have to be. And then let's pretend maybe there's like a little leaf here, like a little floral that we can't see because it's kind of facing a different way, so it's shorter. And I'm not good at these. So if they don't look like what you can do and you can do better, absolutely do yours. Do your florals. The idea is just to have fun, to explore with your color, to play, and to maybe try something new. I don't know. Like I said, like I say all the time, if you hate something I do, then it saves you from having to do it, and you can go ahead and do it your way, you know? If you hate all these bleeds, absolutely don't do them, right? Keep it separate. Let each flower dry. So you could do this little section up here, move down here, and do some florals down here while those dry. You know, you get it. I know you get it. There are stems right here, but I feel like that is a very empty spot. So let's add something, and that paint's still wet. Love this cotty paper. So I got to touch the leaves on both sides. So the green is definitely coming down into my leaf. I'm gonna mix some more greenish color. This one happens to be a little bit darker. This floral was kind of going in a funny direction, so let's like pull it down, and it'll share pages with that other pane, but we're gonna again try not to think about that. We're just gonna treat the whole page, and it's kind of getting, ooh, that's a wonky leaf. Again, because I didn't turn my page. If it helps you to turn your page, by all means, turn your page. A lot of people will tape onto some sort of surface, like a piece of cardboard, or like I have plexiglass I like to use, but I didn't use it today. And then, you know, if you want something to touch, just, I don't know, put some random leaves in there. They don't have to make sense. Just put what you want where you want it, because it's fun and it's pretty and it's because it's yours and you can. You don't have to follow the rules or follow any kind of like, oh, that's not the way flowers grow. That's not the right size leaf. What kind of flower is that? None of that matters. I mean, I guess it does if you want it to matter. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter that that's a mess. Doesn't matter that one leaf's way bigger than the other one. Just go with it, have fun with it, and practice. Practice your shapes. Practice your brushes. Use different brushes. You don't have to use this dagger brush. If you decide the dagger is a floppy mess and you hate it, don't use it. Because I know a lot of people do think it's kind of a floppy mess. And it kind of is. But once I started using it to get loose, I loved it. Let's see. So I got a lot of pink going on down here. I hesitate to bring in another color because I didn't, but I will. I did bring in that yellow. So why don't we make some maybe like, oh, what are those, like little buds maybe? You know, like little, and I'm just making like little C shapes. C shapes like around each other kind of thing. And let's throw in some more down here. Let's let them hit this leaf right here because it's gonna be a pretty color. And again, they don't have to be perfect. It's hard to make C shapes with this floppy brush. So if you want to switch to a round, feel free. I'm gonna grab another one over here. And I almost think like maybe it makes better ones because I was making buds last night with a round and they were coming out kind of too perfecty. And I feel like these ones offer a lot more texture. So I don't know, try a different brush. I saw somebody playing with a cat's tongue today, cat's tongue brush. I don't have one of those. Oh, I do, actually, I do. But just try different brushes and have fun with them. Okay, so, whoa, that was a big bleed. Oh well, right? We'll let it go. And that was kind of a big bleed. Just bring that down. Let's bring up some wispy leaves. Those look like devil horns. Whoops. We'll have to work on that a little bit. Yeah, that one kind of went to a mess. And you know what? It's okay. I'm probably just gonna leave it. I'm not really that picky. Again, I'm not ever trying. I can tilt my paper a little bit and get some of that green to go down that way maybe. I'm not really trying for perfection. You know what I will grab? I will grab a piece of tissue and I will just kind of maybe just blot a little bit out of there. Just a little bit, because that was a little intense with the green there. But it's okay. If it doesn't look perfect, I'm not going for that. So let's just add a little more ochre to there. And it's just gonna be part of it, right? It's not the whole thing. If you make a mess up or make a funky looking one, we see it because we're looking right at it and we know all the flaws that went into this, right? We know every single one. So I just was using too much water. So I'm gonna make sure I'm brushing off some water and tapping off, or, you know, putting my brush against the side of the palette and kind of like pushing some off. Okay, so this was better. And I'm just gonna add some extra little, not fuzz, I'm gonna add some extra little, oh, I don't know, little parts of the bud. I don't know what the word is for that, I forget. So you'll notice every time when I'm on here, I'll forget what words are called what, and it's just, I guess it's just the pressure of, you know, I'm supposed to know all this stuff, and if I do know it, I promptly forget it because, you know, I'm in front of the camera and I don't know, I guess that's just the nature. Okay, so I'm liking the green. I'm just gonna do a few splatters since I have some extra paint on my brush and I don't really want to waste it. I'm gonna rinse and I'm gonna grab some more purple because I feel like this lower half doesn't have any, and it doesn't have to have any, but I think it would look really great touching this yellow over here. So I'm gonna let it touch that yellow. Oops, grabbed it wrong. I grabbed some green instead. Whoops, that's okay. Just mix it in, push your paint around until you get a color you like. It might not be the exact same color you have before, but that's okay. And I'm just smushing my brush around. I wouldn't say smashing, but I'm definitely kind of letting the brush help me make the petals. I'm gonna go up here too. This area feels a little bit lacking, and I'm just going to make some messy florals. And then last but not least, down this little corner, I'm gonna add a little more pink. And again, they're just almost blobs. I'm not really trying for a floral shape besides making that loopy bow, right? And I think that might be it for the colors. We can just toss in a little pink at the bottom here. Make sure every cell, now see, I don't want to do that, but I am kind of looking at each as the whole. Do we have the colors in all the areas, right? A balance. I do like to look for a balance. Do I have a balance? All right, so I'm gonna finish up with a few leaves here and stems. That was a lot of green, so I might want to get some more water out of my brush, but I don't mind. I'm gonna finish up here and maybe some green here. I do like to use green on the edges so it gives a nice border. Touching a little green here, maybe a little green here to touch this guy, this purple flower. And then what I'd like to do, my corner of my palette has a little bit of a darker color here. I'm gonna grab that and just drop it in a few of these purple flowers that I just painted. just to give a little bit more contrast here, a little more color. The dark helps, you know, showcase the light, right? So gotta have the dark to have the light, which just so happens to be true in all aspects of life, doesn't it? So I'm gonna grab my liner brush, any liner will do, and I'm gonna grab some more green, and I'm just going to maybe add some darker green in the areas, maybe like next to the buds, at the base of the buds, maybe some kind of like little things, little pieces like coming off the buds. I don't know what those are called again. Just enhance it and give it a little more contrast. So keep it creamy. I'm getting too watery here. So I'm just gonna start adding those in. That one went a little darker than I like. You can kind of add a little bit more dark to some of the stems, a little bit more if you like. You can see what's still wet and play with that. You don't have to do this part at all. You can stop while you're ahead instead of risking dropping colors in that aren't dry, you know, or something. So this one doesn't have a stem. I'm just gonna add one to it, which I don't really care how skinny that was. So I'm gonna grab my dagger brush back and just kind of add a leaf there, and add some green here. And when I say leaf, I'm literally just blobbing in some green, because when it's that small and on the corner of the page, you're not gonna see much anyway. So it's safe to just kind of, you know, blop in a little green. I'm just going around checking my areas that might just need just a smidgy more green. Maybe this edge right here would be nice to see some more green, because again, you know, you want to make sure that everything feels good. This pink one I feel could have a little darker. I think it's still wet, so I might be able to add just maybe even a little bit of our purple, or my purple that I was using here. I hate to add too much, but I think that might, there we go, that might be nice. And then add a little bit more maybe down here in this guy. This one too, maybe up here. That one already has the touch of purple in it. And I think that's splattering of green. Since, you know, green's kind of everywhere, especially if you're in a garden, you're just gonna see a lot of extra green. So I'm going to hopefully get some wet stuff too. Drop it in there and on the dry. I like it all. And so there we have, I'm gonna stand up and look at it. So it's very unlike me, I'll be honest. The colors are very pale, but I like that. I like that I did something that I normally don't do. I've kind of been wanting to find a coral for years, honestly, because I don't know, I've just never bought a coral color. Ooh, you know what I want to do before I forget? I want to add some of these shimmers. These are shimmers from Nibs, and I love them. So let's grab some of this gold. Okay, so that's a fun one. Let's get a little more. Try not to get my clothes this time. Last time I was wearing this sweater, I got my clothes. I was a little sad. So I'm gonna step back while I do this so I don't get myself tonight. I don't know how many clothes of mine are probably filled with splatters though, quite honestly. I can feel it hit my hand, so it's definitely going everywhere. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit this with a heat gun. You can absolutely let it dry naturally. With the big tape reveal, let's see what we have. Okay, and I do want to pull, so I'm going to take the tape very gently. Cotton does tend to stick because it has these little frayed edges that catch, the fibers catch. So I'm going to slowly, I'm peeling away from my paper, and I'm peeling really low. I'm at level to the table. If you see, let's see, my finger is on the table, so it's going very slow, and it's pulling the tape with a very light pressure. And I save my tape, so I just stick it onto my table, my flat surface, and use it next time. People laugh at me, but that's okay. It works for me, and I enjoy not wasting it, and I get to reuse it. So it makes me happy, very happy to do that little thing. I know that sounds silly, and it is a tiny thing, but okay, so these ones usually stick. So let's see. Let's go down here. See, I can feel it sticking to the fibers just a little bit. There we go. So again, the reason why it's sticking, I'm going to show you. On cotty paper, it won't stick on regular paper, this tape, but occasionally on cotty paper, see these fairly light frayed edges? It just, you know, it's exposed cotton. So it's just wanting to grab onto there. Okay, let's see what we can do on this one. Okay, I don't have to get the heat tool. I was going to say I can use the heat tool and just put the heat on there, I wouldn't have to pull it all. The heat will just release the glue, and it'll come right off like magic. But I won't need to do that. Let's see, did I do this one last or was it the middle one? Or first, let's see. Let's grab I'm trying to grab lower. There we go. Coming right off. Okay, let's just get rid of that. And then the last one. Trying to grab it so it doesn't yank our paper. And there we go. So we have kind of a window frame effect, and you can leave it this way, absolutely, if you'd like to. I like to take my eraser and go down these lines and just erase my marks. I can still kind of see them if you wanted to cut. So I can cut this with a paper cutter, or the way I like to do it, I'm gonna make sure it's all dry first, which I'm pretty sure it is because I heat that for a while. What I like to do is I tear mine. So you can do it a few ways. You can bend the paper over itself. You can use a ruler or a scale with a straight edge, like a metal thing. This doesn't have rubber feet, so it will slide on me. What I can do is take a little bit of this gum eraser and stick it on there like that and make little rubber feet so it won't slide on me. But I think for this, I'm just going to do my old method of folding. So I'm going to loosely, and absolutely you can leave it like this. I'm going to loosely find my middle, and I can probably honestly just fold it because it should be mostly where my middle is. So let's see if it works. If it's close enough, it's close enough. And it's close enough-ish. So I'm gonna fold it twice, and I keep my finger right near the crease. You can do this with water too, so you can wet the line with water. I just do it this way. It works. It works all right for me. All right, so then we have that. Okay, treat it as 2, and then I'm gonna fold this guy in half 2. I'm gonna kind of loosely make sure that the lines aren't too crazily different. Let's see. Yeah, they're okay. And again, this is just practice, so I'm not going for perfection. It's okay if they're not perfect for me. I'm gonna hold tight right up here when I tear. I'm gonna tear gently. I'm gonna move my finger each time, so I have some pressure on there. All right. And then last but not least, this last one here. Let's fold this one. So that one I didn't really outline my border too much, and I'm gonna show you. See, I like where it does the outline. See, you can clearly see this. This is where the tape's at, right? And so some of these in certain areas you don't have that. It's not a bad thing, like on this one, right? There's not a very, but it's fun. Aren't those fun? So now you have 4 different pieces you can place on top of a craft card, and you have 4 different thank you cards that you made in one sitting. I think that's super cool. And little bleeds, you can add gold pen, you can add a fine liner, you could do whatever you wanted. This pink is coming off pretty darn bright in the video. It's not as it's not as bright as it is in person, or maybe it is and I'm just in denial. That could be, I could be in denial. And then you can, I mean, they don't even match anymore, right? And that's okay. They all look like they're their own little, actually that didn't go there, did it? Now it's like a puzzle. Oh wait, puzzle goes here. Does it? Was that my top and not my bottom? No, because there's the purple. No, that's purple. All right, and that was the pink flower. Yep. Oh, that's funny. And there we go. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you try it, and I hope you explore all different colors, and I hope you just have fun with being curious and trying different things and different brushes. Definitely try different brushes, try different papers, and have fun with it. All right, thank you.